I spent 100 days in Cobblemon, a mod that brings the true essence of Pokemon to Minecraft. I mean, just look at this Garchomp, he's so cute! My goals for this video are simple. Earn 8 gym badges and challenge the Elite Four. I'm doing all of this on PokeHub. The IP along with the Cobblemon mod pack will be linked down below so you can follow alongside me on my journey. So let's get started on this adventure in the Moon Realm. Getting on the server, right out the gate, I saw a spin function. Gambling? That's all me. I rolled for an extra 8 Pokeballs on my adventure, and then I got to the real stuff. What Cobblemon/Pokemon will I be picking? There are some really good options, and Froakie turns into an amazingly strong Pokemon. But who am I kidding? Torchic's the cutest. With this little chick on my side, I wanted to check out the hub. This place has a lot, like an auction house, Pokedex, skill abilities, but that's all besides the point. Vote Crate keys are at stake, and I'm all in. Once again, my addiction runs deep, giving me 5 rolls. The first one, enchantment bottles. Next, 1 grand. Then, Wooloo, don't want that. 750 bucks, and lastly, 100 claim blocks. That's a lot of information at once, but I finally am ready to start my beloved adventure in Pokemon. I RTP'd into the middle of nowhere in search of battle animals and a new place to call home. I was put into a spruce village right out the gate, and honestly, it's not that I don't love the wood here, but I need a place that isn't already someone's house. On a mountain, I noticed that the biomes are looking a bit different than normal Minecraft, and that's because the server uses Terralith to enhance the world so it's not near as boring. Up on the docket, I found a cute little Rookidee. I have no idea what this Pokemon is, but I want it. A flame charge and quick attack later, I learned that I can catch them by actively throwing the ball at the guy. This is so much better than all of the other mods available. I did spend a lot of day one looking for a place to live, whether that was running through some forests, boating in the coolest of canals. However, one thing caught my eye. This little Spheal. However, even if I wanted it, Rookidee landed a powerful peck that killed him against my will. To end out my day, I found the border of the world. Can't be settling here now, that's scary. Day 2, I realized that I have the ability to fly. Yes, okay, I'm using one of the top ranks on the server, but Cobblemon doesn't have riding Pokemon yet, so I can't go flying around on a Charizard. But it does allow me to speed through places and pick up stuff as I go. I found some berries, and I have no idea what they do, so I guess I'll have to figure that out later. However, the better find are these apricorns. Those allow me to make Pokeballs, I think. Then it was time to finally figure out where I'm going to be living. I flew over this giant crater next to a beautiful red spruce biome. Immediately I knew I wanted this entire area to myself. With the claim shovel, I struggled once again, I could never figure this thing out, to claim more land than the Louisiana Purchase. I have plans for this area. It would be sick to build a bridge over this entire gap, and that's only phase 1 of our build. However, the Cobblemon are my priority right now. I thought it would be fun to train up the 2 guys I've got, and the first thing I saw was a Teddiursa. Let's just say after getting wiped by it, I learned my lesson. Let's challenge a higher level, ratatata. Yeah, I lost again. Torchic then one-shot a Kricketot. My goodness, thought I was losing my touch there. Even though my touch is a 2 out of 10 Pokemon knowledge, which shows by losing to a Bunnelby. Day 3, I wanted a fresh face to the team, Magikarp, but instead, I killed it again, man. Thanks, Chicky. Thankfully, his strength continues to prevail as he last-ditch effort quick-attacked a Swallowy and fires through a Starly and Pidgeot bird attack. Our little guy is level 16 in a matter of moments, and then a Decoy spawns on the server. Decoys are legendary Pokemon that spawn next to a random player. If you kill it, you get some pretty interesting rewards, but you cannot catch the thing. However, if one spawns on me, I don't think I'm killing it anytime soon. Some more wildlife extermination later, and our boy is level 19. And I wanted to store some things at our so-called base. Trust me, at some point this place will look sick, just not right now. I still wanted to evolve my guy as quick as possible, so I kept killing all throughout the night. We are so close to the next stage of Torchic. Then I got it, level 21, and I knew it was time. I clicked evolve, and in the menu we had combustion. Our little guy is sick now, but there's some other stuff we have to worry about in this world. Technically, there aren't many dangers when it comes to needing armor and stuff, which is good because I don't have to focus on it. However, I still want to go mining. Diamond tools will be needed for building, and maybe we can find some cool Pokemon down below the surface. Speaking of Pokemon, I had forgotten to name our starter. Of course his name is gonna be No, I'm kidding. Don't worry about it, relax, alright? I'm going with anime names here. Burn Dead. Burn Dead fits the fire type, and since he's also a fighting, naming him after Mash just makes sense. On to mining. I was just grabbing up some coal and iron in the surface caves, but the lower I went, the more I saw. A Ghastly caught my eye, and I think this evolves into Gengar, thus I want it. Thankfully, Burn Dead didn't kill it this time, and we had our mans. While mining, I noticed a mining level, something that can be upgraded to give you double drops or faster mining over time, which is great. I'm already going for all the ores that give me the most XP for this skill. Diamonds are fairly rare on the server, but that didn't stop me from getting my first. Oh, and a house. Underground. Yep, there's just a house chilling in the mines. Some random items were inside, but nothing special. Seems as though people have already looted it. Back to mining, let's speed this up. Over time, I got around 16 diamonds between some massive caves and claimed a mob spawner. I'm not sure if you can mine them or use them or if they're useful, but it's good to have for later. Outside the caves, I sold our lapis for a whopping $700, probably not the best way to be earning money at the moment. And to end out the night, I made an enchantment table for my tools. Then a sugarcane farm, so at some point I can set up the full enchantment table. After that, I made the bad call of claiming all of the kits I have access to. 8 new diamonds was great, but another one gave me like a little XP thing, and I used it on Burn Dead for him to only shoot up to level 36. Bruh, that makes this way easier. However, I'm gonna try and keep my cool and store this stuff instead of use it right away. Day 6, I evolved Burn Dead to his final form, the beast of a Pokemon, Blaziken. He's now able to pack a punch and rizz up all the Ladymons. I also figured out how to access his moves. I began replacing some of what he used to use with better flying, fire, and fighting type moves. Then I used him to just start mopping up Pokemon around me. No one was safe from our line of fire. I also wanted to level up Ghastly as well, which evolved into a Haunter later on. His moves were a lot more complicated. I can't tell the difference between all the purple ones, so I'm just like hoping these are good. Next up, I checked out the Jobs function, which is a way to earn money as you level up. I went with Miner, Builder, and Trainer. Sums up what I'll be doing for the next 100 days. I also saw a Playtime Rewards feature that allowed me to claim some keys, rare candy, and more Pokeballs. Day 7, while at the base, I farmed up some of the cherry trees I had planted down, and I plan to make a cherry bridge across this gigantic gap, a way to make it all colorful and stuff. After that, I wanted to catch some more Mons. I was able to secure a Bizzle, I don't know how to say that, which Burn Dead almost killed, but he didn't, thankfully, and he was high enough to evolve him into a Floatzel. I changed up some of his moves, so we now have a cool water type. Then I continued through the forest until I found a Beedrill. I'm only slightly familiar with this Pokemon, so Floatzel was able to get it low for a catch. And to end out my day, I almost died trying to capture a Magikarp. But hey, I did get it. Gyarados is better than Floatzel in my opinion. Day 8, I was being a good soldier and tried to level up our Magikarp, who I named Gyu, by the way. But getting him up to level 21 in hopes of evolution is gonna take some time. The only Pokemon that Gyu can kill is more of his own kind, so it was a slow slaughter. On a beach, I thought I saw a tree, which turned out to be a Gigalith of a Pokemon. I mean, this thing is taller than my future. Clearly, I won it. Burn Dead was the first to go, trying not to kill it and just getting a small hit, which worked, but it killed my guy. Thankfully, Haunter is my sleeper agent and knocked him out for the catch. I cannot believe this is in my party. I checked him out and he's a grass dragon type. I don't see it, but okay. I switched some of his moves around and hopefully he'll be helpful in battle. I also named him Fat Gum. Anyway, back to the mass exodus of Magikarp, Gyu evolved into Gyarados, one of my favorite Pokemon for sure. This big old man, Fat Gum, and Burn Dead are gonna be the real additions to the team. Gyu currently being our weakest link, I added an XP share to him. Cobblemon actually allows these to be crafted, so it's fairly easy to level him up, while Burn Dead does all the work. That's actually what I did. Burning the Pokemon around to level Gyu up a bit so he might be strong enough to fight on his own. Also, something that has never happened to me in my 8 years of playing this game. Yep, I was struck by lightning. First time for everything, I guess. After that, I learned about the hunt feature. There are easy, medium, hard, and ultimate hunts on the server. If you catch that Pokemon, you end up getting a reward ranging from 5k all the way to $50,000. My easy hunt was Murkrow, while my medium was Machop, so I RTP'd to try and find them. However, the only luck I was getting was killing a Spheal that didn't see it coming. While out, I found a Golduck, which is cool, but why do I keep running into water types? I'll never beat player gyms if I stick to one type the entire time. Also, if you're wondering why some of my Pokemon, specifically Gyu, is jumping levels, turns out if you welcome someone onto the server, you just get free levels, so legit anyone can level up their Mons fairly easily. The only other thing that happened this day was catching this Ponyta, but for some reason it was pink. I'm unfamiliar with the different region Pokemon, but apparently this Ponyta is a fairy type, which is pretty cool and a lot different than the fire I'm used to. Oh, I should have named it My Little Pony. I just thought about the, man, I should have done. Okay, anyway, day 10. I realized that in my hunt to get a better team for the eventual Elite Four, I hadn't even started on my base, and I'm not going to now. Instead, let's just make that bridge I kept talking about. My first attempt at the arch wasn't the best. I mean, look at this thing. It is so crooked. So I ran it back on the other side, getting the arch the way I wanted. From there, I got to work on filling in all the layers, using slabs for an easy walk, and then spent time mapping out the railing. For some people, that can make or break a structure like this. After getting our spacing right, I didn't want the bridge to just be so narrow, thus I began building it down to thicken her up. Alongside that, I game planned the perfect arch to connect it to the ground. However, after looking at it, I made the perfect arch on the wrong level, something I'll have to fix later. The next day, I started to realize that getting cherry wood is heavily inefficient right now, and buying it would be much easier, but I need some cash. 2.4k is child's play out here, so I went to do quests in the area. One of them was just breaking cherry tree leaves for $2,000. That's a steal. And there are a ton more like this. I chopped oak leaves, spruce leaves, birch leaves, broke 100 stone blocks, which took longer than I wanted, so I finally made our enchantment table, but since I'm not level 30, I settled for a plain silk touch pickaxe. Could be better, but later on this will be perfect. Then I went back to our quests, breaking 100 grass blocks, mining 100 cobblestone, some iron ore, gold ore, etc. The hardest one had to be the gold though, as it only wanted me to do the stone variant of the ore, yet I didn't realize I could mine ones that I had already mined, so I continued throughout the cave, looking for more stone gold. That led me here, a random guy just building down here. Sup, bro? Eventually, I had gotten all of my gold completing another quest. I also happened to find an onyx down here who I thought picking up now would be useful in the future. Final quests for the day were 100 iron ore and some andesite. Good day's haul, rewarding me over $30,000. Yeah, money is easy. Back at it again with the back at it again with the bridge build. I corrected the arch to only be on the bottom, and I can tell this is going places. Then I lined up the top with cherry logs to connect all of the pillars and repeated that on both sides. With all the bare bones stuff done, now I just really have to make this pretty. I used upside down stairs to extend the platforms out to the railings while also not covering up the logs, and then I stripped the top of them to make it all nice and pink. Then I came up with a design for the rail that would look good with diorite added to the build. Day 13, we were so close to being done with the bridge, and I still find it funny I chose to build this over a house. Yeah, I'm not right in the head. I focused on getting this finished, starting with the rail. I used fences, fence gates, trapdoors, lanterns, and slabs to make it all look good. After that, I went underneath to make sure our bottom half was covered. I put stairs in all of the corners to make it look connected, as well as fences for support in every square. After it was all said and done, it looked pretty good, but not perfect. The final thing I did was add trapdoors all along the bottom for an extra pop, and then grab cherry leaves to simulate growth all along the bridge. This is a perfect looking bridge. You cannot tell me that this isn't fire. Like, look, I get it. All I get to do is walk across it, or yeah, I'll be flying across it, but let's be honest, this is a statement piece. Later on in the video, you'll learn how to teleport here if you do end up playing the server with me. However, it's finally time to get back to Pokemon and making more money. I first changed up some of Onyx's moves so he isn't trash. Then I found more quests to do. One was enchant 5 of every sword type, and I'm totally cool with that. I had around 20 levels at the time, so I was easily able to do the wood, stone, gold, and iron versions. After that, I saw a quest for smelting iron ore, and lucky me, I had silk touched all of it from the mines, so I just got to sit here and watch it smelt. I wasn't sure how it would work if I left the furnace and maybe I didn't get my prize, so I wasn't gambling that. I just stared here for the rest of the day. However, day 15 was a questionable day. Now look, I get that I am meant to be training my Pokemon to fight through all of the gyms and win the game. That's the plan. However, after being here for 15 days, completing quests, hunts, etc., I earned a ton of rare candies. So I went through and leveled up all of my Pokemon to level 90, almost. Burndead was an easy 90. I want to use him as much as possible, and Fat Gum just sucked up the rare candies, while Giyu is my only water type, thus it makes sense, and Sprite, the fairy Ponyta, only earned up to 81 because I don't know how useful she will be. Totally not because I ran out of candies or anything. Now that they have new moves available, I also looked through those to see which ones would do it for me. I'm still very new to all of this, so the ones that had high numbers just always piqued my interest. After all that though, it's clear I was focused on our Pokemon today, so I took them into the wild to kill, catch, or hunt Mons. I used Haunter to catch an Ambipom, then sat in a river trying to hunt down a Golduck for money. Took a while, but eventually I found one and it killed Haunter, so sleep wasn't an option, which meant I was just yucking Ultra Balls at it till I caught. Thankfully, that's an extra 10k in the bank. Day 16, I was flying around the world when I just saw this floating platform. It confused me until I realized this is how people farm a Pokemon way more efficiently. I'll have to look more into these for when I do the hunt stuff. During that time, I was introduced to Gladiator. This is a battle between players, something people do on the side to earn money and bragging rights, so I signed up. Not like I'm gonna win anything. The prompt for it just popped up when I was wandering, letting me know I have to choose 3 Mons to fight with. Of course, Burndead, Fat Gum, and Giyu are the best choices. Out the gate, I was fighting a Galizopod, I'm so sorry, and used Burndead to, well, burn it. Then a Crobat was in my way, which somehow one-shot the rest of my health, so I brought out Giyu, my tank. He hydro-pumped the thing to 19 HP, so I just did it again. Now I'm in a 2v1 with an easy kill on his Honchkrow for my first round dub. In the next round, of course, I chose my 3 babies again to fight for me. Burndead was up against a Flareon, and not an easy one, since it was level 100. However, he kicked the crap out of it for the Vic Royale. Next was a Jolteon, but since kicking worked, I tried it again, just to lose. Now, water is weak to electric, so I think bringing out Giyu is a no-go, thus Fat Gum was born. He used Giga Drain to have Jolt's HP, thus he swapped to Leafeon, so I swapped too. The battle was quick, with Giyu taking a lead and Fat besting the Jolt round 2. Somehow I'm winning these, and the only thing I get to see is the Plains biome. I really wish it teleported you to an arena or something. I didn't expect to get this far, so when the final round came, I got absolutely wiped. To be honest, I don't even know what the other person's Mons were, which just makes sense for me, but I still got 2 vote party keys for getting second. Day 17, I was hunting down a Mon on the desert platform, but it just wasn't happening, so I went to a player-built shop. He had items I didn't know about. So many items. But the best part was he was buying keys. I could sell those vote party things I just won for like 20 grand. This also may be the turning point in the video where I kind of start focusing completely on money over life itself. Back home, I was into even more quests to just keep earning. After realizing that placing was also a category for quests, I went ham, placing stone, hoppers, brick, you name it, I was in it for the cash. Day 18, I was back on the hunt for some more Mons to either add to the team or earn money from. 1 RTP later, and I was in a dark forest plateau. I don't know what kind of Mons I could get from here, but it turns out I was close to a woodland mansion. Clearly, it's been looted, and it's used to catch Mons, but I don't know which ones I want, so I continued on my search until I found a flat with a boated Turtwig. I love Turtwig, and if I need a grass type, he's the one I'm after. On my fly around the world, I ended up at someone's epic base. Look at this place, it's huge. It had an apricorn farm and everything. I'm in no need of Pokeballs. However, I'm distracted by pretty colors. So while watching Bungo Stray Dogs, I went around clicking on every apricorn possible. It's rare to get seeds from these things, so I was just making sure that I had gotten a couple or 10 from every single color. And to end out my day, I asked someone for a normal diamond ore to complete another quest. Apparently my Silk Touch Deep Slate ores won't do the trick, and I needed this stone one to get the cash. Okay, it's been almost 20 days since we started this, and the only house progress I have made is a bridge. Not that I have made much Pokemon progress yet, but still. I need to clear out the land where my house is going to be. It was all terraforming work for now. I'm not sure how I feel about all of the stone mixed with the dirt, but with proper decor, it can work. more. Speaking of Pokemon progress, I also went through all of my mons again to rework the movesets and level them up fully, as well as place some berries in their held item slots. I don't remember what they do. I'm just hoping they help in battle. After all of the quests that I've done, I have around $150,000. That means I want a Pokemon. One of my favorites, if not the top 3 or even top 3 in the verse. I want Garchomp. So I asked in chat if anyone had one. Unfortunately, no one seemed to, until the mod Imp showed off theirs. I bought that up for $30,000, a small hit for such a richin like me. Back at base, I took off my XP share on Zenitsu and placed it on Gible. I also had a couple of XP items to get him up to level 51 and evolve him into Garchomp. After that, there was more money to be made. One of the quests happens to be about dyeing sheep. I needed 10 plus different dyes to spam a sheep for money. I don't get it either, but it's free. I flew around the map and collected all different types of colors to hoard up each and every dye. However, there was a slight hiccup. While grabbing cactus, I noticed diamonds shining at the bottom of a cave. I'm not missing my chance for free loot, so I accepted drowning as a trade for the blue gems. Yet, the game had something else in store for me. A Dratini, a cute little guy just chilling there, ready to be caught. However, all of my mons were level 100, so I had to bank on the Ultra Balls again. It took like 10 balls to collect this guy, but he's mine. Also, one of my top mons collected. As a bonus, I did get all of the dye I was talking about earlier. The first part of day 21, I was looking around for a sheep. It's much harder than I thought to find a vanilla Minecraft mob, but eventually I landed on one. I put it in a hole and started the process of constantly dyeing it. After doing this for like 10 different colors, I walked away with an easy $25,000. And anyone can do this. You just gotta collect the flowers. Then I fully leveled my Garchomp. This big boy needs his epic moves. Not that I know anything, but Earthquake I've heard is solid, so we'll use that. I followed that one up with Draco Meteor, Stone Edge, and Flamethrower. I know technically Garchomp, now renamed Kaiju, ain't no fire type, but what if he needs the move, okay? Let him cook. Literally. I also joined another Gladiator battle, which, I got stomped in. I don't even want to recall the effect of my defeat. Holy cow, it was bad. And to end out my day, I started buying random colored concrete because I have a new plan, and it's for the house. This will be nothing like you've seen before, unless you're in the Discord and you saw it like a month ago. Starting off, I will need a large stone base, something to hold up this monstrosity of a build I am going for. When outlining the structure, I was just counting to random odd numbers for the dimensions of each segment of our house. The first of these was a giant green cube. Not sure what part of the house this is, but next was an orange section. This place was much more of a mess, not really a cube or any kind of shape. However, even after looking at this outline, I don't know what this was. This is a mistake. Something needed fixing here, so I added a purple square on top. For what? I don't know. There's just a lot of colors. Thus, I decided to add more. Why not? It's fun. I genuinely have no idea what I'm doing when building this. I'm freehanding the entire thing. The only reason I'm doing all of these different colors, like this blue square that I've added on the left side of our main part, is because I just want to keep it bright and lively like I feel Pokemon is. Next, I started filling in each segment. First was the orange. It was massive and costed a lot. Then I added some more to the purple, and I noticed that the stone foundation was looking a bit small, so I extended it. After that, it was my attempt at decorating our green blob. First was some sandstone trim around the entrance and circling the first floor's perimeter, as well as using birch, I know, on some windows. Overall, it was looking alright, but I thought to add melons as a contrasting block along with green terracotta. Then I opted for mangrove as an accent block. Red only goes with green at Christmas, so let's hope this video comes out around then. I've been at this for a little while now, so let's speed it up a bit. First, I added wool to the purple block. Then I slanted a mangrove roof over the orange part and a sandstone roof for the purple. After that, I worked on the weird offset in the orange area, such as this roof and sandstone to hold it up. Then a cool little diorite window. Since I'm adding all different colors anyway, diorite seemed like the way to go. Plus it looked really cool. I kind of regret all the sandstone now. Day 26, I mixed up the palettes of the orange with some wool and pumpkins. I get that it looks a little weird right now, but after it's all done, attention to detail will make it look great. Back on the left side, I had to roof in the sandstone outlook. I don't really know what to call this, except it kind of looks a little bit Greek. I chose mangrove again, and don't want to hear about it, okay? Don't talk about my building palette ever. I know that I've never built like this before, but there's a reason, okay? Again, soon any member of the server will be able to come and visit my home, so I want to make sure that I do Cobblemon justice. And when I think of Cobblemon, I think of colors, so I'm using them all. At the back of the base, I also added a Pokemart-like roof entrance. It's perfect to symbolize the Pokemon games I never got to play. However, it was finally time to get back to work on the green area. I only decorated the front, so I had to wrap everything around, add more windows, and once again, extend the foundation of our base. In the front, I was figuring out stairs. Originally, I wanted slabs that could connect to a path leading behind the base, but it didn't work out. So regular old stairs that'll fit has to do. After that, I roofed in the green section, made the outlook gallery look a little nicer, and finished up the exterior with diorite windows. I'm actually low-key in love with the new house. I shared it in Discord, like I mentioned earlier, once or twice while making it, and it got mixed reviews. So let me know what you think of it down below. Now, after almost 10 days, it's time to move in. I really ought to learn to build smaller bases. At the start of day 29, I began thinking about the challenge of getting to the Elite Four. Turns out, I need to start by getting all 8 badges. Who knew? First, why not start with one of the helpers, Herp? He runs one of the purple type gyms, and no, I'm not joking, I can't tell the difference between all the purple type colors. But I know for a fact my Haunter could be the key to victory, but he still needs an upgrade. So my man of aid happened to be the very man I'm going to challenge. He helped me evolve my Haunter into a Gengar. I also pulled out my Shiftry, I think that's how you say that, a dark grass type, so that maybe I'll have a chance. I also leveled them up by handpicking moves for the battle. And at the same time, it turns out Herp was in a battle of his own. Quick, a soon-to-be friend, invited me to watch as another player got wiped. This did not help my case whatsoever. After telling Quick about the whole situation, he decided to take me under his wing. He told me about leftovers, correct movesets, Mon's abilities, and everything I didn't know. So he's basically becoming my sensei. With all of that stored up knowledge, I challenged Herp on day 30. His gym is crazy. You can see the true time that went into building it. However, there is an issue with this request. I have to take a quiz. I entered a room with a 2 out of 10 Pokemon knowledge, expecting to get an 80% on a test before taking on Herp. I entered the first room and saw my teacher with 3 Pokemon in front of him. He asked me, out of the 3 Pokemon, which has the highest special attack? I tried to walk out of there right away, but I was trapped. Sure, I can technically guess the entire test, but what are the odds of that? After studying the names, I guessed Chandelure. Somehow I had it right, and I moved on to the second stage. From there, I guessed the correct one again, and got to a room with a Gengar. He happened to ask me about which had the highest speed. Unbeknownst to him, I could actually look that up in my inventory. Turns out Gengar has a pretty high speed level, so I just went with it, and I was right. That is 3 in a row, and he decided to ask me a bonus question about Gengar. Was the one that he had shiny? Huh, I wonder. Overall, I actually ended up passing the test by only getting 1 wrong the entire time. We were able to move on to the battle where I started with Shiftry, even though that wasn't my plan, so I insta-swapped for Swoop as he swapped for Booger Man? I got confused very fast and threw out Froppy, who got hit pretty hard and then died. Burn Dead knocked his HP a bit, but was killed by Chandelure. Kaiju came out just to lose as well. Swoop moonblasted nothing apparently and healed off of Booger Man, who then lived on 1 HP. I hate my life. Swoop died killing Booger Man, and my Gengar came out to kill his Sableye, which didn't last long as Death itself came out from its little hidey hole to finish me off. Well, that was fun. Not coming back here, I suck. Also, Quick was disappointed to say the least. After that battle, he ended up taking me to his place. It's a massive white structure that I'm sure will eventually be turned into a gym. He's way too experienced for me, so he ran me through some of the stuff I did wrong and who I should be using in my next battle against her. However, that took a while because I'm dense as all get out. So moving on to day 32, it was a bit of a better day because I decided to take on another gym. I know, so soon is a little crazy, but this time I'm confident I can get my first badge. I'm going against a bug-type gym, and my team ran like this: Gyarados, Garchomp, Dragonite, Lucario, Altaria, and of course, Burndead, my main man. With the /PG command, I was there in an instant with Gyu starting against Shuckle. I popped a Dragon Dance and hit a Hydro Pump after. I know I really should use Earthquake, more of which I did on the Galcantula. I'm so sorry, but now it's pretty low. I am not a great match, so it was Burndead's turn. However, I got crapped on by its speed. Don't know what I'm doing still. Yet I had a clean swap, so I popped out Lucario. He was able to blaze kick it to death. Then she brought out Skizzer. Scissor? I don't know. A solid bug type, but I was ready with a close combat to get her down to about 26%, which I then lost Lucario to speed. I learned from my mistake and pulled out Dreamer. A Dragon Dance play left her weak, and the U-turn attack pulled out Crustle, who wiped her. I'm so sorry for people who know what they're doing, but May was out, and it's her job to kill Crustle. Thank the Lord it is dead. Finally a win. Buzzwole was pulled out, and now I've never seen this mon, so I was scared, but a Dragon Danced Hurricane one-shot it. Shuckle returned to play, which I swapped in Gyu to handle. He Earthquaked it for nothing, which meant I was right not to use it earlier. A Hydro Pump killed it, leaving Skizzer in place, or Scissor, I'm so sorry. I apologize for all of the names that I mispronounce. Even though Gyu lost to the thing I can't pronounce, it was Kaiju versus Ninjask, who just got Fire Fanged right off the bat for a W. Wow, what a long battle just to beat the Bug Gym. Please don't leave any comments about my poor performance, alright? I really do improve throughout the entire video. I don't with the pronunciation of these mons though. To end out the day, I rolled the Vote Party key you saw me get in the middle of the battle for a Netherite template. I had totally forgotten about armor at this point. Okay, enough brain power. After all that, I was monned out. We have one gym badge to our name, and it took 32 days. This is not looking good. However, it was time to actually move into the base. I'd really only put my random item into chests. No interior decor has been done yet. To start off, I made my bedroom because clearly I need that on a server. It was a spruce framed bed with storage on either side to act as nightstands. Then plopped down the enchantment table in the green corner and some stellar shelves to hold up lanterns, plants, and just the anvil. To end it out, I made a chest area or two for all of our crap. Not that I'm ever organizing it. Speaking of that, the next day I had to move all of it over to the new storage area, and y'all know me, I'm just yucking it in there. After that, I learned how to make a healing machine for my mons for a quest. Still one of the best ways to get money and level up the team. Then I also made a PC and a pasture block, which I learned lets Pokemon roam around your area. I learned that by accidentally misclicking it way too fast, sending my Turtwig out to fend for himself. I also didn't want to be that guy with his mons, so I let the team out for the night. Just kidding, get back in the ball. I start the next day with a few quick decorations around the base, like a grindstone lantern and carpet to complement the green cube. After that, I noticed I still had some unmined diamonds, but that's because I'm still rocking with the Silk Touch pickaxe. With how much cash I had now, I thought it best to warp to some of the player shops around and see what they had. Took me some time looking at each and every shop to find one with books that would max out a pick. I bought Fortune 3, Efficiency 5, Mending, and Unbreaking. I combined all of that up into one book, and now I need 22 levels to just put it on my pickaxe. That's when I learned about a command XP Warp, with some sick spawners like a zombie, vindicator, skeleton, etc. I didn't actually have a sword, so I kinda just sat here and punched them, hoping for good XP. I also reached out to a mod who had bottles of enchanting. Those got me to 22 levels easy, which leveled up my foraging skill from combining. Finally, it was time to mine all of my ore, awarding me with a total of 32 extra diamonds. Next was an apricorn project. I wanted some around the base in case I need more than the stacks I've already harvested. Probably should have paid them for that, but oh well. Anyway, I cleared out some land behind the base and planted one of every single type. Eventually, these things will grow. Probably. However, that got me interested in the Pokeball quest. I'm sure I can make some of these, so I gotta get to it. I harvested some iron, coal, and copper from a nearby cave from the base for which these balls are made. And after it was all smelted, I started a quest and cooked up 32 of each ball. I did this for the entire day, giving me either 1,500 or 2,500 bucks every time. It worked out pretty well, because there were a lot of balls that I could craft. The only issue was when it came to getting the white apricorn. I didn't have a lot of those, so I had to sacrifice some balls to craft. Day 38, I worked up the courage to go against another gym. This time, it's a flying type gym. I googled a lot of stuff beforehand and talked to Quick, knowing that electric types are strong against them, so I pulled out my Luxray and Ampharos to aid in battle. I also reworked some of the moves on all of my mons to lean more towards rock, electric, and ice strength to fight the flying gym. I'm slowly getting the hang of this thanks to Quick, so I was ready for this battle. I teleported over to his gym and it was like a cage. The battle started with his shiny Gyarados versus my Kaiju. I of course tried to Earthquake, but I'm an idiot because that doesn't work around here. Then I Thunderfanged it, which did some damage. From there, I tried a Swords Dance to make that move more powerful, hoping he wasn't gonna hit yet with his attack and speed already raised. After Gyarados, next was a Crobat, who took my Thunder straight to the frickin' grave. So far so good. This Balloon Boy did a big hit on me, which poisoned me to death, unfortunately. However, Kaiju had gotten 3, so surely we're good to go. Until I saw that my Ampharos was low. I had forgotten to heal him before the battle. May went out against Togekiss and fought like an idiot. Why are you using Blizzard right now? Dreamer came out and Ice Beamed it to death, so that's 4. A Crovenite, who was next, looked terrifying, by the way. Ice didn't do much, and since my electrics were weak, I'm not happy with my performance here. Dreamer fainted, so I brought out Gengar. He used Thunder, but it missed the first time and hit the second, leaving his Zapdos as the last Pokemon. I don't know how to fight this thing, but Gengar hit a banger of a Shadow Ball, leaving some hope. My last non-injured guy was Zenitsu, and he landed the final Fatal Crunch, which earned my badge number 2, a cooked chicken breast. I'm fairly happy with my performance. I didn't throw too hard this time, and I'm Googling a lot less, so maybe 3 out of 10? Day 39, I received my reward for progressing up the ranks of the gym. I'm surprisingly doing it a lot faster than most. Don't know how that's possible, but I was given some eggs to show off. This server has custom skins for some of their mons, which makes these eggs very valuable. I opened up an April egg and won a Barraskewda. Not even gonna ask what that is. I won something out of a Heaven Egg. I kinda lost it in my PC, but I'm sure I'll find it later. And out of the Shadow Egg, I got a Grimer. That's not great, but I found a purple Lapras in my PC. Not even sure how this got here, to be honest, but I love it. More of the day was spent on clearing out some of the trees near the base as I get closer to expanding this place. I have a plan to make a community all focused around the Pokemon Battle Arena in the middle, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I also went ahead and did another Gladiator battle. After getting wiped in the other one, I wasn't feeling too good. My first opponent was one of the most known players on the server. Great. May went up against something that I had never seen before and Thunder Punched it to death on 1 HP. Kaiju then one-tapped his next 2 Pokemon and I had round 1 in the bag. Somehow my 2, maybe 3 out of 10 knowledge is working. My next opponent happened to be another one of the best players on the server. I'm dead. Speaking of dead, Burn Dead was straight away killed by his Giratina. But Kaiju came in clutch and made it switch out so we could Swords Dance Earthquake a Palkia to death. Then we did the same thing to his Giratina. Finally, the Rayquaza came out and stopped me as I can't Earthquake it. It outsped me and I was left with Lucario. He pulled out a crazy close combat at 14 HP and won. Round 3 started fast against Kaz, another freaking big dog on the server. I don't know what's happening, but the server is like making me a jester up against a knight. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm at a loss for words on how I am still in this. May Thunder punched the Pelipper to death and he threw out Barraskewda. Oh, I do know what that is now. May was outsped and lost that fight. Lucario was next with a close combat that didn't do much as he swapped to Zapdos. I don't have much to do with Lucario, so I got in 1 more CC and died. All that was left was Kaiju. I scale shot the Zapdos, and it was just the fish versus the monster. Lucky me, when the Zap died, my defense fell, but my speed rose, allowing me to get an Earthquake off on Barraskewda in time. Somehow, I got through to the final against some of the best players. I knew my luck was over when it came up to DLT in the last round. He is one of, if not known as, the best player on the server. My team got absolutely destroyed by mons that I didn't even know existed, and I landed in 2nd place. That was one of my biggest accomplishments for this entire video. I mean, gym battles are cool, but this was super hype. Yeah, hype can fade, as for now, it's time to get to work on the extra sections of our base. First up were the outlines of stone. One base is for the backside, and then one adjacent to it, making this area almost squared in with buildings. And finally, a perfect circle in the middle of our area. After it was placed, I filled it all in and bought a bunch of colorful concrete for all of the buildings. I stuck to lighter/neon colors for every area and continued my crazy plan just like our OG house. Random squares, random heights, random of randomness is our theme. By the end of the day, we almost had one of the new building installments fully filled in. So I may have forgotten to record day 41, where all I did was work on both of the buildings by placing in some mangrove roofs. But day 42, I worked on where the sandstone could go in the build. One square over on the back side will be outlined in it, while another area will be an entire sandstone bridge. It was really to serve as a gateway to the backyard, where I will eventually be making a garden. After that was done, I got to decorating each section with stairs, slabs, walls, and a mix of birch. It took a while, but the pink square, orange square, and bridge are all looking pretty good. I also tried to work on the other build, which is where I messed up a bit. The pink building was a tough one because I didn't want to just turn it into a castle or make it look like all of the other ones. So I chose a different option. Make another story on top of it out of sandstone. I'm not saying it was bad, it just doesn't look good later on. Day 43 was some more decoration work. I finished off all of the gradients on my builds by buying up wool and terracotta to make each section look a little less boring. I still have no idea what I'll be doing in these areas, but at least it all looks good. Remember when I was talking about that backyard plan? Well, today is the day I put it into action. I cleared out some space in the back by cutting down all of the big trees, and then I cleared away dirt and filled in every crack, hole, and cave that stood in my way. Mapping this out was interesting. I'm planning to have rows of plants that can all be sold for profit. So I dug a runway for water on either side of each row, and then I planted down each spruce pillar to mark every single farm. The real work came in the next day, where I channeled in all of the water and then covered it up with slabs and began hoeing each and every square until the entire thing was hoed dirt. Then I ended up buying some of the plants without looking at the price tag. $20,000 later, I had a stack of one of the berries I was planning to sell for profit. This profit's gonna be way in the future now. I make bad choices. Day 46. It was stupid of me to make those lofty purchases, so this time I'm only buying one and dumping all of my money into bones. I would purchase one of every type, plan it down, and then spam to earn myself 64. That ended up costing a lot less. However, they all just look like dirt mounds now, so I hope with enough time I'll actually have plants. The next day started with me checking out the GTS, player run auction. There are never mons I want on here, which is sad, but back to what's important, letting my level 100 Garchomp smoke any mon on my property. For some reason, I just felt like killing birds. Then I saw a Machop, which I kinda wanted, so my boy Gengar came out and put him to sleep. I also found my first Eevee. I just love the fact that Eevee can evolve into so many different things, so yeah, I wanted this type of mon. Then with my luck ballin' today, I caught another Eevee. I never see them. Like the entire 40 days I've been here, haven't seen one. Today I just saw two. And my new baby Lapras was calling to me as well. So with my stash, the major stash of rare candies I had, I leveled the heck out of him. Funny enough, he still had moves like Growl and Sting on him, thus I had to change those up. I put on Life Dew, Aura Beam, Ice Beam, and Rain Dance. Doesn't my boy look so spicy in his shadow form? The custom skins are actually insane. Next up on the old schedule was challenging another gym leader. Not right now, I'm kind of still an idiot, plus this one is the electric gym leader. I have a couple ground type moves like my lovely Earthquake, but I don't want to be reliant on that. So I sorted out some more moves on Garchomp, Lucario, and May. I also spent a ton of time organizing my PC. This thing, it looked atrocious. It had to be organized or I'll go insane. Day 49, I'm at Bomb's gym, the electric type gym. He walked me inside only to find a maze. I have to find my way through to get to the top. Thankfully, I'm a master at my craft and only ran into 17 dead ends before reaching the top. The battle took place on what the normal populace would call a roof. However, this is clearly an arena. You can see the ball. He started with this thing called Zap. I don't know what it is, but Dreamer was up first. I popped a Snowscape and took a bunch of HP. He swapped in Raichu, who got destroyed by an Earthquake. My leftovers are helping me out a lot, but not enough to survive against Jolteon. I brought out Kaiju as the trump card and he swapped to Emolga. So I swapped to May. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? In my mind, Emolga is like a flying squirrel, so I didn't think Earthquake would work, alright? That's why I switched. He then switched again as I hit for 30% with Ice Beam, but May wasn't done yet as he swapped again. Scared to get hit, obviously. But anyway, Kaiju was back against Jolt. Jolt hit first, but still got one shot. Easy. Then the Emolga was back, and so was May. The Elective Vire, I think is how you said that, came out, who punched the crap out of May. I'm down to 4, and Kaiju is on a bend. Earthquake. Another one down, and Galvantula, was out. I power gemmed it for 70 HP and earthquaked again, just to lose on speed. Lucario took a stand to get almost one shot and paralyzed. However, he hit the one tap on the spider. He died to Zap, who just keeps swapping in and out, so annoying. Lapras came out and aura beamed the Emolga to bed, go sleep now, and guess who was back? Zap, who outspeeds everything with only my Fat Gum remaining. He popped an Earthquake not once, but twice for a W. Yes, you heard me right. I actually won that battle. And I'm at 3 badges, baby. We're moving up in the world. After that win, I was feeling confident. So day 50, I challenged the ground gym leader. Same team I just used, I don't care. I'm the GOAT for a reason, and I'm here to stay. I had Kaiju out against his... I'm not going to pronounce that. I have no idea what this is. Didn't matter, I'm confident. I Swords Danced up twice in a row and hit with an Earthquake, which one shot, cause again, I'm the GOAT. With Kaiju still out, he put up Camerupt, who was able to get one shot. Next was an Excadrill, which I one shot again. Look, there's a theme here, okay? I knew Kaiju was my guy, but I never knew it this hard until he killed the Quagsire, Gigalith, and Diggersby by winning the gym without taking more health. Wait, is that a Hatsumiku skin? Anyway, I now have 4 gym badges. Kaiju, my boy, I love you so much. You're the absolute best. Also, look at my farms. They're going crazy, so I went to harvest them. I was getting a bunch of berries. Profits were looking good, and I was happy until I tried to sell them. Apparently, the berries I had were not exactly the selling type. See, when making these farms, I had berries in chests that I thought I could use to fill up the farms. However, I can't sell those, and that's how we're here. Me with a bunch of useless berry plants. So I took away all the plants in one of the sections, bought a berry that can 100% be sold along with the bone meal, and filled the gap. I had to do this for the rest of the farm, and this took me way too much time. There is no fast way of breaking these plants, and I'm just a big goof. I'm paying for it all in spades right now. It took me till the next morning to finish off the project, but now our ungrown farm will eventually grant profit. Oh, and as an editor's note, this will also grant a lack of frames later. Now flying around my area, I have some sick houses, but no aesthetic. I lack the decor to bring people here. Well, along with a reason to visit at least. So I put down tree saplings everywhere. This is now a cherry, spruce, and oak forest biome, since that totally exists in real Minecraft. I was very particular about how these trees look though. Some of them would grow where I clearly do not want, or a giant oak tree would pop up and no one wants this. No one. Put it up for adoption. With these trees looking good though, it was time to move on to the battle arena in the middle. I built up the stone walls to determine the height and placed an outline of black concrete. Of course I'm going to make a Pokeball in the center. I'm just undecided about the best ball, so we're going with the OG. A nice red top and white bottom. The ball was missing something, so I extended the push button thing, and it looked a lot better. Now to highlight the ball with other colors. I bought snow and quartz to help make the white section look a little bit better and give it a nice standout shine. For the red, I just used red terracotta and red wool. It was looking really good, but the quartz was throwing me off, so I replaced it with wool because that just makes so much more sense. It's a lot more white. I lit it up with torches underneath some carpets, and stage 1 of the build was complete. However, we still have part 2 of this build, and that's making it match with the area. I first start with a sandstone trim all the way around our ball. Then I make a matching set of stairs on either side for the challengers. After that, I made a rim around the outside to house some plants later on. I filled them both in with dirt and replaced the bottom of the build with birch to blend it all better. Then I add some slabs to the top and make water spouts on opposing sides to simulate a fountain thing, because I don't think there's any water around me. All in all, it's looking pretty good. We now have a makeshift battle arena with 2 fountains and a garden. But that's never enough. I fly around the next day and collect leaves from the area, like oak and cherry. I ran the trim of the oak leaves around the last blank space of the build, then put some composters in our plant section. I'm making small little trees here, like I've used in some of my past videos, making 2 cherry and 1 oak, and then on the opposite side, I'll do 2 oak and 1 cherry. Inside the area, I try to make it as green as possible with small sugarcane farms, or I don't know, just grass if it'll ever grow. I also used some cherry petals to make it look a little bit better, and trust me, they worked, okay? These things are adorable. Then I added some berry plants in the back and a small campfire section that you can quote-unquote camp at. I scoured the earth for seagrass to add to our fountain, and now that I'm looking at this thing fully done, I should have totally incorporated some azalea bushes into it, but overall it looks really sick. However, we are not done yet. I have one more full-blown task to make everything come together as the build. The stone on the ground is incredibly ugly. I ran around and mined it out just to fill it in so that we have grass everywhere. After that was done, I terraformed a little bit so I can start connecting all of the buildings and the bridge via a path. It was skinny at first as I got the outline put down, and I plan to make it much better until the server had a restart. So now I'm just stuck in the hub, but I have a sword. This turned on PvP in the hub, and I had some fun. But the next day, I was finally back to working on the paths, bone mealing all the grass around, and planting down more trees to get the perfect looking ones. Day 57, I made a bunch of walls and fences, as well as lanterns to add to the path. They were looking pretty good on the trail, but it didn't feel like it could light up enough, so I also placed some wool in the cherry trees and hung more lanterns. Now the goal for this area is to turn it into a player warp, however no one is going to come visit me if I don't have something to offer. Thus we are making a store today. I mined out the inside of one of our lesser used buildings and made it all into a hallway. Here will be the main shop. Although I don't know what I'm going to be selling yet, and when going back inside the house to figure it out, my chest dump of a corner got to me. I tore down all of the chests, moved my junk into the other storage area, and made this one into like a little kitchenette section with furnaces and blast furnaces. It looked so much better here now, and it actually makes my storage area useful, other than the fact that I just dump it all in there. Back to the storefront, I placed in a few chests in the front building. I shift left click to open the player shop menu, which allowed me to set up some Pokeballs for sale. The issue is I don't know the price that they sell at. I just have like 1,000 of them, and I want to get rid of them. To solve my lack of knowledge issue, I ran around checking out prices at other shops to make sure I was selling at a good price. I may have also found an Elytra for sale, and since they're so rare, I nabbed that bad boy up. Wait, I can already fly. What am I doing? Back at base, I set up shops for multiple different types of Pokeballs, and a section for leveling up Mons, meaning rare candies, small to large XPs, that kind of stuff. Overall, we have a good selection to sell right now, just nothing to entice, unless you count me. At the bridge, I put up a sign to let everyone know where to go when you get here. We have our farms and shops one way, and the house/arena the other. Also, the glow squid ink thing is so cool, lighting up the sign. That's the first time I've tried it, and it looks amazing, especially with the white dye added to it. Then I stood at the bridge and finally, after almost 60 days, was ready to open up my warp. If you do end up playing the server alongside me, make sure to check out /PW WelcominTV on the Moon Realm. I may or may not be walking around the server when this video drops, so make sure you're around for that. Now the rest of these days, I ended up making a mistake that the staff had to actually fix for me, because they just felt bad for my poor soul. I saved up money for a long time now to buy villager spawned eggs. I started off with only 2 and a few beds in order to breed them and continue the process. I don't know why in my mind I didn't consider the fact that they could have stopped breeding if the eggs were for sale, but yeah. As you can figure out, these guys will not breed, and I made them into Fletchers, so they're basically useless now. And now I'm the idiot who needed to have this fixed later because my purchase history will get worse with this. To end out my day, I went through the farm and harvested all of the berries. They were selling for a lot less than I was expecting, especially based on their price tag. And without an automatic way to farm these, this could have been a poor investment yet again. Day 60 wasn't exactly the finest of days. I wasn't actually doing much this day, however my guy Quick was online. I invited him to the warp and showed him around the base. He also checked in with me about the badges I have. Currently rocking 4 of the like 12 I need in total by the end of the video. That's yikes. Things are still looking up from here though, and he thinks I can really do it, even though my time frame is 40 more days. That's like 1 every 5 days. Oh boy. Day 61, I wanted a and lucky me, Quick had one. I bought the shiny one that he had for about 50k. Bit steep, but I really wanted it. He is a big chungus of a boy, and I like him a lot. I changed up his moves because he doesn't know any better. I put on Sucker Punch, Liquidation, Leech Life, and First Impression. Quick really wanted me to use him in an upcoming battle, so he helped out a lot with the moveset. Not that I'll know how to use them. Also, while off the server, players online finished a server-wide /hunt quest. and since I had somehow participated in it, a bunch of items were given to me. I had 10 vote party keys, 5 vote keys, and 1 cosmetic key. I tried my luck with the cosmetic key, getting nothing good at all, and then remembered a shop I had previously seen where I can sell all of my other keys. I sold those for upward of over $100,000. Easy money if you ask me, but then I turned right around and used it to buy an Embor from /GTS. I make bad money choices, I know, but look, he's cool. Day 62 and 63, I worked heavily on the interior of the villager house. The staff ended up refunding my other villager eggs for my lack of paying attention, and I bought 6 more. These 8 plus the outcast Fletchers are to be organized and used to make my shop that much more enticing. I put them all into the little cubicles that I'm used to using, maximizing space, and since I have so little of that, I needed them to be confined. Then came the re-rolling process. On to the dread of doing this, if I do say so myself. Right off the bat, one had a mending, but it was way too expensive. I'll only ever have 2 Fletchers, so I need stuff to be cheap. I re-rolled for a couple minutes, getting sharp 5 as the first book, and things were looking up. Surely my luck will continue, right? On the next day, I ended up spending the entire time re-rolling, getting absolutely nothing. I'm sick of this day. Move on. Day 64 and 65 were more in the same, so I'll just let the books that I unlocked speak for me. Mending was the first one, cleared that for only 26 emeralds this time, which I'll take. Unbreaking 3 was next. That's nice to have if you ever think to have armor in this game, but it's also good for selling. And for 12 emeralds, it was a steal. Next, I got Prot 3 for 12, and then at the end of my day, I got an Efficiency 5 from one of the 5 villagers I had left to reroll. I still have so much to do here with these little rats. However, I'll get to those guys later. Right now, I'm a bit sick of my own base. It's time I challenge another gym. This time, it's the Dark Gym, built and held by leader Desi. I showed up, and of course he's in blue netherite, the sweat. Anyway, his base was like a puzzle maze. It's meant to be a lot harder than other places I've been, and let me tell you, it was. He told me he would wait for me at the end, next to an Umbreon, and I was just to find my way. In the first part, I was surrounded by leaves, but that won't stop me. Enough lefts, and I was in the water mangrove swamp-like place. I'm to find my way out again, but he tricked me with it being a water exit. The lack of light stopped me for a bit, but I was able to make my way through eventually. In a cave, he tried to divert my attention, but right away, I could tell there was something going on with this hole. I did /crawl, and in a matter of seconds, I saw the escape and dipped out of there. Still need to find this Umbreon, but now I'm in a warped forest. I parkoured my way up the vines and around the tops of the trees to find the battle arena with the Umbreon inside. Turns out he was tracking my time, this scoundrel. I clocked in at 9 minutes and 29 seconds, which I thought was bad, but I actually beat Quick's time by literally 1 second. Looks like the student has surpassed the master. On to the battle, I brought Lucario, Garchomp, Ponyta, Greninja, Skizzer, and Golisopod. I start with Lucario, who close combats a Murkrow, then a thing called Blue comes out. I can't tell what it is, but it got close combated as well. That's 2 down already. Things are looking up. Teefs came out, and shockingly, he got close combated. However, he did do some damage. Yes, if you're wondering, I was prepared for this fight this time. I'm finally not rushing in blind. I say as my Lucario faints to an Absol. Toto comes out and bug buzzes it in 1 hit. Next, he has a thing called Sneak. I Swords Danced and bug buzzed it, but I missed, so instead I U-turned one-shot it and brought out Golisopod. His last mon was a cute little Umbreon who doesn't live for very long. He gives me my badge, which is a Wither Skull, and I'm off, getting my 5th one. Unfortunately for me, I'm back to work with the villagers. I re-roll again and get a Silk Touch book for 8 emeralds, the only price I can currently afford. With that acquired, I combine it with Efficiency 5, Unbreaking, and Mending to make an axe out of it, except I still don't have Sharp 5 on it, because shockingly, it would be way too expensive for me right now. It would take 19 levels, and I'm at 2. But there is a mob farm warp that I'm gonna go to, and like an idiot, I still don't have a sword. Don't worry, after farming a few levels, I got fed up with the slowness and made a sword. This shoots me up a lot faster than before, and I'm able to actually get my prized axe. Alright, so this has been a long time coming, but it's auction day. The server hosts auctions once a week where players can sell off their mons to the server. I arrived and got in line to sell because for the past 60 plus days, I've been collecting, using, and leveling mons for this very purpose. Well, other than gyms. And looking at the day count, you can tell this is a very long venture, but still a big deal. People are here to show off some of the best mons in the game. like this Rayquaza that just appeared in front of me. I have nothing like that to sell, but I'm planning on selling like my Heaven Grimmer or my Garchomp. Don't worry, he's an extra one. I would never sell Kaiju, and maybe a Snorlax. Other people had Mons as well, and we would go up one at a time to sell, while everyone else bids. It took a while for me to see anything that I would remotely like, but Pink set out a Sableye that just looks so cute, and I wanted it, but with my lack of cash, it was way out of my price range. I also bid on an Alakazam that looked pretty cool with its custom skin, but again, I didn't win. Moving on to my first turn up at the podium. All of these players could be bidding on my stuff, and it was exciting. I put out my Garchomp first. I wanted to lead strong. His bids were starting off pretty slow. But hey, getting up to 50k is no small feat. That's when someone offered 100 for him. It almost sold, but then it got a 150k offer. This was easily the most amount of money I had seen at one time coming in. It was great. He sold for 150k. Next up was my custom skin Grimmer. He sold to a mod for about 30k, and that's not bad, because he has nothing else going for him. Finally, in this run, I brought out Snorlax, who started off slow, but again, rose in the 10s from 50 to 60, all the way up to 80. I walked away with over $250,000 just from those 3 Pokemon, and I still had plenty to sell. Back in line, I actually was able to bid now, and I tried getting a Venusaur, but wasn't putting 100k into it. But I did get a custom skin Golem for an easy 20k, and thought that was a steal. But next he showed a shadow-like Gengar. That I tried to bid on, but the price was shooting up fast. Later on, I bought a Haxorus with like an April skin on it for 36k, another steal in my eyes. I also bought a cool Annihilate for 50, which is good because I've lost to this Mon before, so I know it's at least decent. Having money sure is great. Back on the stage, I threw down my Shadow Sandshrew, which only sold for 7 grand. Sad days, but I had a plan. I don't use this guy too much, so I was selling my Lapras. Yes, I know, he looks sick and I love him, but money. The price started to jack up. It went from 100 to 120 to 180 to 250. $250,000 for one Mon was actually insane to me, but I am making cash now. My last Mon I could sell in this run was a Metagross. I caught him a long time ago and leveled him up, but never got to use him in battle. The first bid was instantly over $100,000. That's a lot, but it didn't stop there. This guy sold at 265k. That's so freaking much money, dude. I felt like a king. The next sort of stuff that started happening these days was crazy. I traded some April eggs to a guy who gave me Zekrom. You know, Zekrom, the legendary Pokemon. Not only that, but mid-negotiation, I won a Necrozma for 410k. I know that sounds like a lot, but come on, these are my first legendaries. I am freaking hyped at this point. It's crazy, and I still have $500,000 left, and it's my turn to sell some more stuff. I got up there and auctioned off an April Parasect, which looked like it had honey dripping out of it. It was kind of cool. However, it did only sell for 40k. Still profit though. Next up, I sold my Rylu, which didn't have the happiness level for evolution, and it went from 5 to 30 to 50 to $150,000 so quickly. I was having trouble just keeping up with the offers when Chico offered $200,000. It ended up selling for over 300k. That's most of the price of the legendary I just bought. My boy did great in profit. And lastly, I sold a Blastoise that went for 105 grand. The rest of the auction, I just watched as people would bring up Mons and I would bid 1 or 2 times, but really nothing interested me to fight for, until a Palkia hit the podium. I swooped it up for 315 grand. I get it, my purchases are crazy dumb sometimes, but I just really want legendaries. They look so freaking epic, and let's be honest, I still have over 700 grand right now. To end out my time at this auction, I bought a cheap Argon because it's just pure bulk. This was a super fun day, and I honestly really enjoyed my time here. Seeing everyone interact and be part of the server, it was great fun. The fact that anyone can come here and do this just by walking around and catching some Mons is also really cool. Speaking of fun, it was time for another battle. It's technically been a bunch of days since a fight, and Pink was ready for me. He hosts the auctions, so we finally got to battle after that. When I warped to his gym, he gave me the prompt. I have 30 seconds to answer his trivia questions, and if I get them right, we move on. Speed Googling it is. First question, what is this Pokemon's color when shiny? I mean, of course it's blue. Not like I don't own one or anything. Next up, what does Happiny evolve into? Without Googling, totally, I got Chansey. Look, I know, I'm not good at this, okay? I'm just trying to pass so I can get my badge. Final question was, what fairy type does EV evolve into? Of course, it's Sylveon. That one I just had down. But after that, I had made it and we can fight. The fairy gym is an interesting one. I went in with a similar team to last time, but now I had Argon. Lucario was up against a Whimsicott. He flash cannoned it in one hit. Next up was Togekiss, a Pokemon I really want. I got one shot, unfortunately, so I brought out Gengar. He hit with Venoshock to get low as all get out, but still killed it. Next was Asmarilla. I used Venoshock again to one-shot it. Sylveon is such a lovely Pokemon, but still one I had to get rid of. Clefable also suffered a one-shot, and lastly was his Alcremie? And Gengar almost wiped the entire team on his own. Another badge added to the collection. Type differences are crazy. I genuinely didn't know it was possible to just wipe a team until Gengar and Kaiju did it on their own. Back at base, I'm noticing a frame drop at this farm, and I cannot stand it. The time it takes to harvest is too crazy for me, so I'm taking it all down. I mean, all of the plants do look really good, but they don't sell for enough money anymore. Instead, I'm going to replace this entire farm with apricorns. It makes more sense for my frames and the whole Pokemon mission. Once the farms were empty, I blocked off all the water and cut out the middle lane with the spruce barrier to have a cohesive farm. I planted each apricorn 2 blocks deep so the tree stems wouldn't stick up and I would have an easy line of sight to each corn. Speeding up the process, I had to expand the farm out 1 row to the left and right to include every color of apricorn. Yet, I'm still 1 corn short, so at the end of the path I made an extra section for the white ones. With the new farm done, I realized I had gotten some extra goodies for winning against Pink. He is actually the main lead of the Lunar League, so I was able to open up a Shadow Egg, which I got a Diglett from, and one that I can hold in my hand for some reason. In my Heaven Egg, I got a Parasect, that's like my second one. And with this holdable Diglett, I didn't know what to do with it, so I put it on my head as a hat. Looks pretty cute. Finally, I was able to open a legendary crate key, my first one ever. I warped to crates and rolled looking at each and every mon I could possibly get. I landed on Latios, a cool water bird, I think. That makes 4 legendaries on my side: Zekrom, Palkia, Latios, and Necrozma. My team is looking lit. I leveled them all up with my 6 stash of rare candies so I can take a look at all of their moves. Zekrom is an electric type, so I made his moves revolve around that and his dragon power. Palkia is a dragon water, which he doesn't look like at all, so I don't really know how to use him. Wait, Latios is a dragon psychic? What? Okay, so way wrong about these mons. I gave him a massive mix of abilities and moved on to Necrozma, who is also psychic. I really need to figure out the mons types before I buy them. Looks like I'm a psychic user from now on. However, after all that work, I noticed how messy my PC was looking, so I did what any sane person would do and organized the entire thing. Mons I'm not sure I'll use are on the far right, and the mons I love in battle are 120 boxes over to the left. There is a method to the madness, trust me. I also noticed a distinct lack of grass types as well, so in a chaotic move, I made a Leafeon. Isn't she cool looking? Day 78, I want a Sableye. My first person to turn to was Quick. He has everything in the game and I wasn't wrong. He had one. However, it turns out you can get them fairly easily in the Deep Dark. And since running around finding the Pokemon is cheaper, I opted for that one. My first thought was to go find the Deep Dark. I mean, clearly it's in the world, but where? Mining straight down was not the smart play, as it led to nothing. But a player warp Deep Dark led me right there. Oh, hey. I wonder who spawned that. Sneaking past him is actually really easy because I can fly and that doesn't make any noise. While flying, I searched every corner of this place, carefully not to spawn any more menaces, but I wasn't finding much. Quick said it would be easy and I asked him how easy. He then came to help me find one, but it still wasn't happening. I started to think they just don't like the Deep Dark. I mean, I don't either, so I get it. Eventually, I found a Sableye, but again, I don't really have a mon who can fight him, so I'm relying on Ultra Balls to do my bidding. Took a few to catch, but now I have one. You can also put this mon on your shoulder too, so I'm really excited about that. Now it's time to take on my 7th gym, one away from facing the Elite Four. This one happened to be a fire gym, so I brought out Kaiju, Burn Dead, Froppy, Giyu, Dreamer, and May, some of the OG cast of my team. But first, I need to go through another maze. Soul Sand? Really? What kind of monster does this to a person? I made it through and we were ready to fight. Kaiju earthquaked his camera up turn 2 and he brought out Mag Cargo. Earthquake worked again, wiping out 2 mons. I mean, surely I can't just wipe the entire team, right? I used it to wipe the third mon, Arcanine was next, and he used extreme speed just to lose. Emboar also got tossed on arrival, and it shows how amazing Kaiju is as a mon, since he's been wiping teams since day 1. I didn't even need a water type to beat the fire gym. That's crazy. One more until the Elite Four. Originally, I was going to include this in the video, but I was just chilling on the server talking to people when the Decoy Patrick Star spawned at a player warp. I'm not even kidding. How do you make this as a skin? It looked amazing, honestly. I asked the mods how much money they wanted for them to just give it to me, but they wouldn't budge. So my dream of owning a SpongeBob character will live and die today. Okay, so this is an interesting day. I was kind of just AFK on the server when I met a fan. Scottymon happened to be a player on another realm and heard I was here. He showed off his mons, got a screenshot with me, and I had an offer for him. I wanted the Pumpkin Gengar. He really did like that mon, but I was able to negotiate a purchase for 85k, which again was probably another steal considering how sick this mon looked. Thanks Scottymon, you really did contribute big. Because in this next set of days is another auction. That's right, money making, money spending, and a grand old time awaits ya. Since we have been through this before, I'll go through it a little bit faster. I have plenty of mons I plan to sell this time as I'm hoping to make a killing. My first bid of the day was on a Grovyle that just looked really charming, so I took that for 50k. I know, kind of a large purchase just for him, but that's okay. I also spent 150k on a Rillaboom, but then it was my turn. First was the Plumpkin of a boy. His price was instantly at $300,000. I was not expecting that. It shot up to 500k just like that, and then 6, 7. It felt like it was never gonna end. Scotty, I appreciate you, man. You made me $1.1 million on this Pokemon. Next was another Garchomp I had recently acquired, and no, it is not Kaiju. He sold for 115. Not too bad. Finally, to end on my turn, I re-put in that Palkia I scooped up at the other auction because I don't like that he's a water type, I'm gonna be honest. It just does not fit him. He sold for a quick 445 grand and made a slight profit from when I bought him the last time. While waiting in line, I bought a Charizard for 200k that looks so much cooler than the normal one, and I also negotiated with Hiatus to give me a Rayquaza for tokens, a separate balance on the server that allows you to change the stats of Pokemon. But I don't need mine from all those quests I did earlier, so he happily gave me it in exchange. Rayquaza is literally my favorite Pokemon in the world of all time. It's the best one and I was very excited. Hiatus then sold a Mew, that cute bugga, and a steep price of 700k was all it costed, but I wanted it. Back to my turn, I sold a normal Ryloop for 50k, then a rose skin colored Skizzer for 50k as well, but the king of this sale was Zekrom. A resale, but I just don't need more dragon types at the moment. He shot up to 500k really frickin' quick, so I'm glad I brought him out. In the end, in front of a different audience, he went for 750k to Hiatus, which is funny because I just bought his Mew for 700, so it's like we kind of traded. To sum up the rest of the sale, I bought a Heatran for 265k and tried 1.3 mil on a Regigigas, but was outbid by Quick, the dang rat. Sold a couple more mons for 80k, 410k, and 15k. I also spent 500 on a Raikou since I don't have Zekrom for his electric type anymore. All in all, a great day for me at the auction. Speaking of great day 89 was just that. I'm taking on the Psychic type leader. And since we just got out of the auction, I hadn't had time before, but I leveled up our Sableye and tweaked its movesets. He'll be very helpful in this battle, along with Gengar, Toto, Burndead, Kaiju, and Golisopod. I know some of my mons are not named yet, and that's for a reason. I got lazy. Anyway, this gym is a new gym to the server, so I'm one of the first to check it out. Teleporting in, I'm on top of a tower with so many rules that I just don't care to follow. In the tower, I'm faced with another maze. These guys really need to come up with another shtick. However, I'm too smart for this. Every level had a 2 glowstone exits, so when I got to the next level, it was really easy to F5 and figure out the path. Once I made my way to the bottom, Bitter was waiting, and we started the battle. When I did, I teleported to the top of the gym, but it's fine, don't worry. Golisopod was against Garlic, who he one-tapped with Impression, a move you can only use on the first turn, which I forgot about when facing his Avocado. Instead, I had to slowly fight it off with Sucker Punch. Next up was Chives, the Ponyta I caught a long time ago. This one I handled with Sucker Punch, and that didn't work. In fact, I'm gone. Toto came out and Swords danced to half HP, getting off a nothing. He's useless. Gengar was out and one-shot the donkey. Thank you. Queso was next, and with a quick Shadow Ball, it was back in his. Munchkin, which I actually know is an Espeon or whatever it's called, didn't like getting Dark Pulsed and we were on to the final Mon. Cheese Bro. What a name. Didn't stand a chance against another Shadow Ball, and I was victorious. That's another one in the books. For beating this gym, I was given an Overkill key, alongside, my 8th badge. But you know me in gambling, so I was instantly at the crate, seeing what I can get. Few chances for a legendary, shiny legendary, eggs, money, but instead, I was given Regidraco. I have no idea what this thing is, but I will love him forever. 90 days in, and I bet you're wondering why I'm in this pink building. With, well, pink again. He is my first Elite Four battle. Yes, he runs his own gym, but he is also an Elite Four member. I'm challenging him because for some reason, I think I can win. He threw out Sylveon against my Toto. I was winning until it survived a U-turn on 1%. 1 freaking percent! Are you kidding me? I pulled out my Heatran to make more than short work of it. Now I'm up against an Azumarill. I burned it with Heat Wave and then almost killed it with Flash Cannon. What is it with stuff staying alive with so little health? Swirlick was next, which was instantly killed. Whimsicott also suffered the exact same fate. Clefable tried a healing wish just to wish for the grave. Togekiss was his last Mon. It's so frickin' adorable, but couldn't survive 2 Flash Cannons from Heatran. Finally being able to use legendaries is great, because with such battles like these, I can try and let them take charge. Oh yeah, and that was me beating my first Elite Four member. But since we're at the end of this video, why not try and actually get some armor? However, I know exactly how much XP that's gonna cost, so I start my day at the XP grinder you can warp to. Gotta love actually having a sword to make this process not 12 hours long. With 33 levels, I returned to base and bought some more books from our villagers. I used those to combine up books to put on some armor, yet I was still a little XP short. Instead of going back to the warp, I actually just bought sugarcane and sold it to my villagers. Now I have 3/4 armor with a Diglett on my head. Acquiring Netherite was a little bit harder. I went through every single shop, although the player bases I could find to try and locate Netherite for sale, but it just wasn't happening. No one was selling. Instead, I opted for asking chat, and while waiting, I bought the silenced armor trim to look cool. At the end of the day, I had bought some for $180,000 from Kaz, and he had 15 ingots ready for me. Starting out day 93, I upgraded my gear to Netherite, then to a green silence armor trim. With 2 Mons on my shoulder and 1 on my head, I love this suit. However, there is another thing I have to do today, and that's battle another Elite Four member. Plasma is my second fight, and I had to be ready. I got Raikou leveled up for the battle and worked on his moveset. And you know what? Why not add our Mewtwo into the fight? He hasn't been able to show off his stuff yet, and I'm hoping to get him in the field. Speaking of field, it was time. I got to the next Prism of Elite Four, and she was waiting. I started the battle with Raikou against her Eskew. It took a couple of hits to kill, not what you want to see out of a legendary, but I was able to switch in Magnetone against I'm so sorry, I have no idea what that is. Oh, look at that, the next line on my script was, I have no idea what this thing is, but I tried Ironhead. However, she swapped in Golisopod, a quick Thunderbolt took that thing out though, and Omastar was next. He didn't survive a Thunderbolt either. Politoed was a new one, so I switched it up with my boy Shiftry. He one-shot it with Solar Blade and was up against a Sharpedo, which really shouldn't look that threatening for dying that fast. Delmis is her last, which took out my boy, so I put in Kaiju. I sword danced up and hit with an awesome Earthquake that almost took it out, but one more and it was done. What a sick kill animation too. 2 Elite Four members down, 2 to go. Back at base, I updated Quick on my moves towards beating the Elite Four, and he informed me that there is still one more person I have to beat after the Elite Four, the current Moon Realms champion. I don't know who that could be, but apparently they're pretty tough. Well renowned on the server, you know. I also spent some of my time making a pasture block in the Pokeball arena, so I can show off my Giratina. I think this big boy should be able to stretch his legs. The rest of the day, I negotiated to sell my Necrozma for 700k. That's easy money as far as I'm concerned. Day 95, I worked on my team for the impending Elite Four's third battle. I'm probably gonna go with Salamence, Kaiju, Rayquaza, Mimikyu, Mawile, I think, and Setitan. Back in my villagers, I traded for more emeralds and used those to buy books. I'm putting those in my shop, so if anyone does want to come visit me, you can check out my sick lot of items. I set up stands for both Unbreaking 3 books and Mending. I'll add in more later, but for now that's enough. The impending battle? Yep, it's now. I'm going up against Bomb. He's tough, but I'm ready. I started off with Salamence and him a Kingdra. I went with Dragon Dance to get in some stats, but he switched to this thing called Martha? It didn't live a Dragon Pulse though. However, his refrigerator freeze-dried Sally. I brought out Mimikyu, which worked against the fridge. Chaos was next. Not even sure what mon I'm fighting at this point, but I tried to fight with Mimikyu still. I was able to land a burn, which he switched to Kingdra. With a Dazzling Gleam, it was brought down a bit, but so was I. Then his Garchomp was in play, which killed Mimi instantly. Fine, Rayquaza it is. I hit a step buff just to Dragon Claw one-shot it. Kingdra didn't survive that attack either, and even his Chaos Mon couldn't survive. This Dinnerbone thing did end up killing Rayquaza though, so Kaiju came out to finish him off for the win. That was a lot closer than before, with me up only by 3 mons. We're so close to beating every gym and go through the Elite Four, but I've only got 4 days to do it. The next one's probably going to be tough, so I'm reworking my team again. Kaiju is staying by my side the entire way. Okay, I'm not letting him go. Then Sableye, cause that thing is a menace for no reason. Chandelure is also a top pick, along with Giratina and Greninja. The last one took a long time to find. I wanted another type advantage, but just wasn't getting it, so I settled on Rayquaza. I then raided my shop to level up all my mons for this fight, as well as, shocker, work out a solid moveset. To end out my day, I traded for more emeralds so I can eventually stock up the shop. Day 98. We have 2 more battles left, and I've just got enough time. My final Elite Four was Herp. Yup. After all this time, he's back with a vengeance and ready to stomp me again. Thankfully, I don't have to pass a test for this fight, but it's still gonna be a tough one. Chandelure is first up against a Mimi of his own. My burn attempt didn't end up well, and I almost lost my first mon, but a quick heal and a pain split got me the first 1v1 win, so he brought out his Chandelure to get rid of me. I tossed out Froppy, but it still wasn't an easy fight. I got him down to 22% before KOing. Giratina was next and got taken half of his health right out the gate, but against the Sableye, it was a tough one. His leftovers made it hard, but I was able to kill it, if not lose my own life to the burn. 3 left, and I'm throwing out Sableye. He chunked out Butter Knife? What is with these names? I burned and he poisoned, then I foul played it one shot. However, he also had a Giratina. Ruh-roh. Sableye was losing that for sure, but Rayquaza to the rescue. Except I was forced to switch to Kaiju, so I Dragon Danced and got off an Earthquake or 2 to take it down. He should only have 1 left, which was Little Man. 1 Earthquake later, and he's gone. That right there is the final Elite Four battle. And I actually won against Herp. My guy took me out 50 plus days ago, and I came back. I came back for revenge, which meant we're done with the Elite Four. Oh my word, I can't actually believe it. The guy on 2 out of 10 Pokemon knowledge somehow came back and won. Day 99, it was surreal. This is the last day on the server, and my final fight is against the reigning champion. And you'll never guess who it was. Quick just had to be the Realms champion. Are you serious? I'm going up against my mentor. Alright, fine. I combed through all of my mons to make a team I'm proud of. Burn Dead is back for sure, along with Kaiju, Rayquaza, Setitan, Giratina, and Mawile. It's an interesting mix of past and present mons, but it should work, and I'm glad to see Burn Dead back in the mix. Quick finally showed up at my base, ready to beat me into a pulp. I took out Burn Dead and him a Skarmory. Good match for me, as I was a fire type, but it lived at 1% again. That cost me a lot of HP for nothing, but it's fine. Next was a legit dog. What on earth is this? It's not even a Pokemon at this point. Unfortunately, I was beaten by this frickin' dog, and I threw out Giratina. And if this loses, I'm gonna throw hands. Anyway, the dog substituted for Spirit Bomb, which took my Shadow Ball like a champ, so I attempted to switch in Mawile. With a play rough, Spirit was close to death, but now so am I. However, another one of these and it fainted. He used a Roserade on me, so I swapped to Setitan during the worst move for it. He was already dead before being able to kill the flower Pokemon. Trump card 1v1 time, Rayquaza was out and it killed the dog thing. Then it was up against Meowscarade, one of the worst mons my party could go up against. Things were not looking good as I tried to Dragon Dance up for a one-shot but just suffered one instead. Mawile tried to play, but he switched for the flower again. Thankfully it fainted, but Meow is still at 100% health with only 2 left. I'm not looking good. Trump card V2 was in play. Kaiju swords danced to almost his death, but attacked with Earthquake, which almost shot this Eternatus. I hope that's how you say it. Lastly, he just had his Meowscarade and it's at 64% with only Giratina left. I'm so close to beating him. Shadow Ball did a massive hit to save the day, and I had won. I beat my sensei, the man who took me from under his wing at the start, and someone who helped me build up every team I've used. It happened. After 100 days on this server, I had conquered Cobblemon. The Moon Realm was my ally the entire way, and I challenge you to make your own team and see if you can beat Quick. Sorry Quick, I'm sending all of these people your way. Thanks again for watching the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. Do me a solid as well and come and check out PokeHub. IP is on screen now, and it would be great if you come out and check out my P-Warp WelcominTV, see my base, see some of my mons displayed there, and let me know down in the comments below how you feel about my pronunciation of all of these people. I'm really sorry about it. 30,000 likes and I'll do something like this again, but tougher. I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you in the next one. Peace.